Mlab. Can you do a basic Mlab style thumbnail? Do Mlab. You're my favorite YouTuber, and can you please do Mlab? Mlab, please do a video on Mlab. Who's Mlab? Can you please do a Mlab thumbnail tutorial?
Alright, I get it!
I'm feeling a disturbance. Why are there so many Mlab thumbnail tutorials? Even on my videos that aren't even thumbnail tutorials, people are still commenting Mlab. This is not a thumbnail tutorial. Come on, dude. Do we have funk? Do we have to go over this? This is a troll video. I want to see comments like, "Oh, nice editing. Hey, that was pretty funny." These are my thumbnail tutorial videos. What happened? Well, let's just type in something, because I was doing some stuff the other day. Now, prepare yourselves for this.
Oh my God!
What is this? No. What is the meaning of this? None of these look anything like this guy's thumbnail tutorials. Hold on. They don't look anything like this. Some of them do, but no, those other ones look a little too generic. So it is now my duty to respond to the call of all my subscribers. I need all of you guys to watch this video and like this video and subscribe, because I am going to, on behalf of all these people that have made these inaccurate Mlab thumbnails, I shall save the day for everyone and make a true Mlab style thumbnail tutorial. So let's get right into it, and everything you guys need will be in the description. Of course, I say this all the time, and there's some custom things that I had to make myself. So if you guys have any questions on how I made them, let me know down below. And yes, this is how he makes his thumbnails. Now, it's gonna involve some a face cam image of him, which I had to crop out, which I will show you guys when we're making the thumbnail tutorial. It was either that or Cinema 4D. I don't have Cinema 4D anymore. It was on my old computer, as I always say. So I only had the other choice of just cropping out one of his faces from one of his thumbnails, which was actually this one. So I cropped this out in Photoshop with the pen tool. Then I used that to make a prototype thumbnail. And I'm not a fan of doing face cam, because obviously not everyone has access to green screens and face cams that have like high quality imaging. So I was forced this time. Like, if he actually made thumbnails that didn't require having a cutout of his face, I would have done that. Nevertheless, okay, so we're gonna get into Photoshop, and this is the prototype I was talking about. Obviously this isn't the exact one. This was like an experiment. There's gonna be like other stuff that we will be doing. So we're gonna hit File, New, and we're just gonna call this tutorial something. Now, I was mixing up the numbers with the tutorials, unfortunately, so this is actually the 14th tutorial. It's still pretty good. I'm just gonna go to my thumbnail preset, which is 1920 by 1080p. I'm going to hit OK, and got this guy right here. Now we are going to place our background. So I'm just gonna go to my screenshots from 1.8, go all the way down here, and which one was it? I believe it was, I think I'm going to choose this one. Alright, so we're just gonna drag and drop this over here, and this is gonna be survival games, because that is what he was doing in this particular thumbnail video. And Mlab, like, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have attempted to learn more about Mlab. So it was pretty fun experience for myself. He's a pretty funny guy. So I'm just gonna hold shift and drag this out, because we want to have as much grass here as possible. And make sure you get the pedestals that you stand on when the survival game starts. I got this screenshot from Hypixel, but you can get it from Badline, which is where he plays on, or somewhere else. Now I'm going to do something else after I get this, so I gotta make sure I get the right size, and I think that's fine. Now I'm going to go to the selection tool, the rectangular selection tool. I'm going to drag it over here, but first I'm going to rasterize the layer. I'm going to hit Control X, Control V to paste it, so that when we add its effects, then you know the inner glow, it won't be like only in the top right corner. So we're gonna double click this, and we're going to give it an inner glow. So just click down here and just copy down everything you see on screen. I'm actually going to increase the size a little bit, and the opacity, reduce that. That should be fine. Should be swell. Now we're going to hit OK. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is import a custom Minecraft logo that I made, which is most similar to the ones in his thumbnails. So I'm just gonna go up here, pull it in, and drag and drop it. Now, from my observation, this is just like the same. It's the Minecraft logo, but it's in the style of the Minecon logo. If I'll put a picture of the Minecon logo on screen right now, so that's what he got. I couldn't find this online anywhere. I could only find the Minecon logo, obviously. So what I did was found a logo, a Minecraft logo that had
Boring.
After listening back to this part of the footage where I give such a horrible explanation of how to make this logo, I just decided I'm going to make a file with this logo in it and upload it as a Mediafire link for all of you guys to download. The link will be in the description, so if you want this logo that I made, just click that link and download it for yourself. You're welcome. So once we got this in here, we're gonna make sure it's centered. I'm just gonna drag it all the way up here. Now we're gonna double click it, and we're going to give it a drop shadow. Okay, and I'm just going to reduce the size. Let me just, okay, and then just to spread a little. Yeah, and then just copy down everything you see here, hit OK. Alright, now the next thing we are going to do, we're going to start adding all the effects to the background. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and give it that nice brightness contrast. So we're going to give it a contrast, a very high contrast. 50 seems to be good. And then for the brightness, I say raise it to 30. 30 looks good. Okay. And then this is optional. We're going to go to hue saturation. We're only going to focus on the saturation. Just going to raise that up real quick. So that the green is like very green. Just getting this from the way his thumbnail looks. So he turns up the saturation all the way. I'm actually going to start using this in my thumbnails because this is actually the vibrance that I wanted to get from the background in my thumbnails, and this looks pretty good, to be honest. It just like brings all the colors out from the saturation. So don't worry about the hue, don't worry about the lightness. Yeah, this looks amazing. Now we're going to make sure we select the background layer. We're going to go to filter. If I remember correctly, we are going to go to the blur gallery and then tilt shift. This is where it gets interesting. I haven't done this before, so this whole thing just pops up. Okay, now don't freak out. It's very simple to work with. We're gonna go down here. We see these two solid lines right here. Now these determine like how far the blur goes in, and then it just fades out, and then this part remains intact. There is no blur at that. So I'm just gonna drag these down a little. I'm not sure what the dashed line signifies. Let me just see. Alright, so it's like the barrier, the division between the solid blur, the mild blur, and then no blur. Alright, so that's what it means. And yeah, so you can adjust this and play with it around, and of course you can adjust the intensity of the blur if you want to. I think I'm just gonna leave it at 15. Once you're done with that, you can hit OK. Now make sure you get that all right, because I don't think you can undo it unless you go into, you know, some complicated areas. But anyway, now we are going to add the text, and we're going by pretty fast. It's just that some of the effects that we add can take some time, so make sure you do take your time. So we're gonna click the text tool, gonna click anywhere, and this font of course will be in the description. As I said, it's called Otaku Rant. So we're gonna type in epic. I'm gonna hold the caps lock or shift just in case, and we're gonna type in epic 1v1 and hit the check mark. And then we're gonna click on a random place again, and we're gonna type in with a fan, and then hit the check mark. Alright, so now we're just gonna drag these all into place. So select your move tool and select with a fan. Okay, now we have to make with a fan significantly smaller so that it fits accordingly. So we're gonna select with a fan over here, gonna hit Control T, hold shift, and then just drag it in so that we make it smaller. Just like that, make it a lot smaller. And we're gonna do the same for epic 1v1 because it's looking a little too big as well. Okay, and now we're just gonna drag it so that it's centered with itself. Make sure that epic is behind with a fan, and we're gonna select both of them by holding shift and clicking both of them, and then we're gonna drag it all the way down here. Okay, now finally we're just gonna hit Control T again with both of them selected, and we're gonna rotate it a little like that. Hit enter, and we're done. Now let's add all the effects to the text because it's looking a little too bland right now. So the first thing we are going to do is double click epic, and we're going to go to stroke, and this burgundy stroke is the exact color that he used for this one. And just copy down this color code right here. Just copy it, type it up, and then hit OK, and that'll give you the exact color that you see right here. Copy the size 13, opacity obviously at 100%. Now we're going to go down to the gradient, and I have this custom gradient that I made. It's a red to white. That's the one that he used in this thumbnail. So I'm gonna click this, I'm gonna go over here. Did not mean to do that. It's been acting up lately, don't know why. So I'm gonna click this rectangle that's red, copy down this if you want the exact color red, and it's actually the regular red. So all you got to do is drag this slider all the way down, and then drag this circle all the way to the top right corner, and then hit OK. And it's a solid white, you know, so I don't need to tell you what type of white because it's just white. Now we're going to give it an inner glow. And this inner glow is looking a little too intense, so I'm just gonna drag it down and raise the opacity. And I think that is pretty darn fine. So just copy down all the things you see down here. Alright, now you see I'm back at it again with the double drop shadow. So the first drop shadow is going to look like this, so it's gonna have a distance set to it. Just copy down everything you see down here so that it's like going down as if it were having the 3D effect like the Minecraft logo up here. And then we're gonna have the other drop shadow. I'm going to just customize that. We're going to increase the spread and increase the size. Just spread a little. Big size, slightly lower spread. Okay, and I think that's all the effects that we need. So it's a lot of effects for this text. I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna right click this. I'm gonna hit copy layer style, select the with a fan, right click it, and hit paste layer style so that all the effects from this epic 1v1 go down to with a fan. It's amazing. Okay, I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. Alright, now we're winding down. This was pretty simple to do so far. We're almost done. Now I'm just gonna get the cutout of Mlab himself that I was talking about at the beginning. So let's go over here, and this is it right here. I'm gonna drag it over here, and look, that looks amazing. And the reason why there's like no loss of quality is because I cut this out from one of his thumbnails in full HD, and simply what I did was rasterize the layer, and then I chose the pen tool, which is this thing right here, and actually don't place. Let me just drag this over here so that's the full size of the thumbnail, and hit enter. So what I did, I used the pen tool. This is for demonstration, by the way. I just traced it out. It's like the polygonal lasso tool, or the lasso tool in general, and I just did that. And once I circled around him, cut him out completely, I right clicked it, hit make selection, I set the feather radius to 1, hit OK, and then we have this, and just believe that this is him cut out. I hit Control C, Control V to paste him down, and then we're left with this cutout. And look at it, this with the pen tool, it doesn't look jagged at all. It looks very smooth, and the fact that you add the feather to it makes it even softer. So simply, we're just going to double click it and give it a simple drop shadow. And we're gonna reduce the spread of the drop shadow, and just copy down everything else. Hit OK, and of course this is for demonstration. I'm not saying you need to put a screenshot of Mlab on your thumbnail because that'll be a little weird, but this is just so that there's like no blank space in the right side of the thumbnail. So I'm just gonna drag this below the text so that the text is overlapping it. And I believe in theory this is how you make thumbnails like Mlab. And this was pretty short. This did not take me long at all. Hopefully it didn't take you guys long either. And of course I tried my best to recreate how he makes his thumbnails by taking several hours of today to do so. So guys, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys learned from this, and if you guys have any tips that can help me do these tutorials better, let me know down below, because this is a learning process for both of us. So keep that in mind. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the support, and thank you for being on my side. I really appreciate it a lot. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the very next thumbnail tutorial. Talk to you guys later. Peace.